Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Business Today Marketing Chat. Today we're interviewing Miss Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR, and she wrote an article in April's magazine called Storytelling for Business. And today we're going to hear all about storytelling for businesses from Margie, who has been doing this for quite some time. So I'll let Margie introduce herself.
Hello, I am Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR, Public Relations, and it is a way to get your name out. Public relations is anything somebody says about you behind your back. What is the story? And that's what we're talking about, right? Storytelling.
Yep. So Margie, tell us, how long have you been a member of the Chamber?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So I've had my business, I'm working on 7 years, and I want to say I've been a member for 5 years plus as my own individual business, but I was a part of it through the nonprofits I worked with. I worked with Community Assistance Center, the Montgomery County Food Bank, Montgomery County Youth Services Yes to Youth. So with those organizations, I would attend, and I've known the people in the community through that. So I know this is the place to be to get noticed.
Well, that's really good that you're telling that story.
Well, it's true.
It's true.
People like storytelling because it's authentic.
Yes.
And if we have learned nothing else over last year, even Zoom calls. So when you have interruptions in life, it just makes you more authentic. So that's what storytelling is. Mm-hmm. And people get an insight so that they get to know you more, and then trust develops.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we're going to dive deeper because Margie provides quite a few tips and questions to ponder on when you're writing a story. But I love how she starts the article. It says, everyone loves a good story, and now don't we? That's why we're on Facebook all the time, because it's all about stories, right?
It's stories. It's insight into people and their relationships and what's going on in their life or their family or celebrations or anything. But business too. If you don't have a Facebook page, why not?
Yeah.
But if you just make it real dry, then nobody pays attention. You got to put something about Chaz on there, or something about Margie, or a story.
So tell us, what would you recommend to your clients when it comes to telling a story about their business?
Make it real. They need to have a draw into it. So if I were telling the story of, let's say myself, how did I get started? And I need to put a dilemma of there has to be a point to the story. You can't just tell a little bit about me, but on the trail of starting my business, what are some of the challenges I faced? How did I overcome them? And how you can engage with Taylorized PR. So there has to be an action. You have to define who your audience is. Who do you want this to go to? Well, other business people. I don't necessarily want it to go to a school, let's say, a classroom or anything like that, because they're not going to use my services.
Right.
So you want to make sure you're hitting your target audience, and then always have some way that people can engage with you or follow up with you afterwards. Yeah. So, it's the same with, say, Meals on Wheels. Mm-hmm. I work with them, and they tell a story of why they're helping the seniors. Yeah. And so they have a lady that's 104 years old. And so by volunteering, you can help them sustain life with nutritious meals. And also food for their animals, their dogs and their cats, so that they're eating the food and not just giving it away to their pets. Or maybe you're volunteering so that they can have a person's face that they can see and be socially connected if they're just living on their own, aging at home. Yeah. So that's the stories. That's part of the storytelling thing.
And where do you recommend their story? We've spoken about Facebook, and where else do you recommend that your clients push their stories out to?
Well, of course, if they use me, I just take care of that for them. I help write the story and push it out on their chamber, if they're a member of the chamber here, the Woodlands Chamber, which they should be. I always tell people that, get noticed. So I go on the backside and post the story for them, and then I also share it on Facebook. I send it out to all the media that are partnering with me. I may even talk about it on the radio show. So there's different ways, or in person. That is the best way to tell your story, to be honest with you, is in person, and even short little snippets, or to connect with other people that can help your business.
Yeah.
That's very important.
And telling your story can turn into so many different forms of content for them. As you said, you could do it on the radio. It could turn into a video. It could be an article. It could be written by a piece written in a newspaper or in a magazine. So how long do you recommend the stories to be? Because the attention span of people nowadays.
So it depends what your format is. If you're doing a presentation and you want to engage people as you're being the expert on whatever the topic is, if you put a little bit of yourself into it, people are more apt to listen to your presentation, especially if you're doing it in person.
Right.
And because they know that you're real, that you're authentic, that you had challenges in life. So it's all dependent. If you're doing a video, I probably wouldn't go over a minute or so. Right? Isn't that what you would say?
Yeah, I would say about a minute, yeah.
But if you're doing something that's going out to the media, I never do more than a page.
Okay. That's good. That's really good information. I mean, that's free information right there.
There you go. You can also go to Taylorized PR.
Right. Because you know where it goes, but do you know how to write it? Right?
Well, that's true.
Yeah. So everything in the story must be easily understood and real, without a lot of heavy description.
Or jargon.
Yeah.
Every industry has their own jargon.
Yeah.
Make it simple.
Yeah.
So that people understand it. Don't talk engineering lingo or something that's just pertinent to your business. I'm sure each one has their own lingo, restaurants, acting. It doesn't matter what it is. There's something. But make it so that your defined audience, who you want to hit, will understand what you're talking about without reading it over and over again or watching it over again. Like, I have no idea what she's saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you lose it.
Exactly. Then you
Change
lose
the
your
channel.
audience. Yeah.
Yes.
So Margie, I mean, now that you know why you need a story, who it needs to go to, Margie, tell us how they can reach you.
Well, they can definitely find me in person at a Woodlands Chamber event. That's easy.
Yeah.
And because I go to most of them when I am able to do so. But you can go to taylorizedpr.com and find it. Taylorized PR for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can connect with me, Margie Taylor. You can send me an email, margie@taylorizedpr.com. See, it's consistency.
Yes, I know, very consistent. All right, well, thank you, Margie. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for writing this great article. And everyone, it's on page 23 of our April issue of Business Today magazine. And thank you so much for always staying in tune with us. And thank you, Margie, so much for taking the time out to share this information. I mean, now when anybody comes, we have a lot of people who come, how do I do this? How do I do that? I could always say, well, listen, storytelling, you want to get your PR out there. So thank you very much, everybody, and have a great week.